We have some breaking news to go over today as the LA Lakers have made a sneaky good signing a three-point sniper. We're going to break down exactly who that is and discuss what this means going forward, as well as discuss some interesting updates surrounding Dorian Finney-Smith that has fans fired up. A ton to go over today, folks. Before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Moves are flowing. Free agency has officially opened, and this is the place to be for the most latest up-to-date news. So, folks, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's just dive right into it, folks. Rob Pelinka has made his first move of the off-season and I guess the first move of free agency, technically. And Jake LaRavia has signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Lakers. And this is very interesting. And Austin Reaves' recruiting worked. We think back to when they, had the interview. Austin Reaves was in the car driving Jake LaRavia. They asked him about how if Jake would consider LA. It worked. 2 by 12, $6 million a year. This is a fantastic deal. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with Jake LaRavia, I'm going to dive into, in depth a little bit here and discuss it. But this is the first domino of many to fall for the Lakers. Is it their big man solution? No, but he is a power forward. Kind of plays more of the small forward, but his play style is more like a small forward, but technically, played a lot of power forward, similar to Denny Avdija of course, the Wizards. But let's dive into just his stats and all these different things. This dropped literally a minute ago here. So you can see last season he played half the games with Memphis, half the games with Sacramento, and he was drafted by Sacramento, of course. 6 points a game last year for the Kings, shooting 38% from three. With Memphis last year, 7 points a game, shooting 44% from the land beyond, ladies and gentlemen. He is an absolute sniper. And I think this actually might go down as a bit of a steal here because this is somebody that, again, was kind of, some people talked about it. I believe Hunter on the channel talked about it a little bit. He's a very solid bench player. Is he going to be a starter for this Lakers team? I highly, highly doubt it, right? He's going to be a backup 3/4, probably a 4, depending on, how big the Lakers go. And we have an update on Finney-Smith, which will be very intriguing, like I called my video earlier today. But at the end of the day, it is a sneaky good pickup and something that, there were some teams interested in it. Chris Haynes tweeted that he was, going somewhere else. And then Shams tweeted he was going to the Lakers. So at the same time, they had a bit of, controversial reporting and contradicting reporting. Ultimately, he is landing with the Lakers, but he is going to be a very intriguing fit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with his style of play, watched a bit of footage, and I kept up with him a little bit. He has very good size, a very solid handle for his size, especially. And he is, of course, a fantastic shooter. And he finished the season with the Kings very, very good. And him and Austin Reaves, I believe, have the same agent as well, which is something that can keep that in mind. And Austin Reaves did a good job recruiting Jake LaRavia because ultimately they got him in on a pretty team-friendly deal. Like $6 million a year is not too much. And we'll dive into the cap hit now that Dorian Finney-Smith has left the Lakers, which is unfortunate. He has battled with injuries though in the past. A mix of foot injuries, back injuries, ankle injuries, eye injuries. He has some injury history, but I think at the same time, like, you can see here his first couple seasons dealing with injuries a lot. His best year was in 2023, 2024 as a 22-year-old. Guys, he's only 23, going to be entering his 24 age season. An absolute sniper. And you can see some fans across the NBA here. Good pickup for the Lakers. Not the sexiest name for the casual fan, but he's actually a good basketball player. And that's kind of like the scoop here. A lot of people don't know how good, he is. Had a big dip in his free throw percentage this past year, really, really bad randomly, even though he's a very good shooter. So that's something to keep an eye out on, I guess. But dealing with injuries, had a very solid sophomore year, really, really good. Started to tail off a little bit, got traded, finished the season very strong with Sacramento, and has an absolutely fantastic shot. I can see this here from last week. It was a Reddit thread of people kind of talking about Jake LaRavia with the Lakers, and people are kind of asking what kind of things he does. I know a lot of you guys probably aren't super familiar with, his game playing with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Kings, but you can see this here. He's a Nick Batum, kind of like a Nick Batum light, good at everything, great at nothing. He's a great 8th, 9th man, which I'd love to have. Now, again, he's probably going to play the 7th, probably the 8th man, depending on what they do with their bench. Like on a very good team, he's probably the 7th, 8th man. I would argue, he's very good at shooting. He's always been a very good shooter, especially last season. Though, again, his percentage is like on his career above average, but you look back to his rookie and sophomore year, like not as good. He is a sniper, though. He is a sniper last year, and we saw that through and through. But it's interesting because if he ends up being a Nick Batum, kind of like him, like even 70% of him, that's a very solid addition. You see, here's a young guys who team gave up on him as he was developing even more. He doesn't have to just be an 8th or 9th man. They fell apart after trading him. And that's something else to keep in mind. Like he got traded to the Kings, and then just the Kings kind of fell apart. They, of course, traded De'Aaron Fox. Of course, way back traded Tyrese Halliburton. Their team is and their franchise is a bit of a disgrace, disaster right now. So I think this is a fantastic, addition here. And their bench is very thin. I mean, you have Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodwin, who they picked up, Gabe Vincent. your bench is in a spot where you can afford to take not even a flyer, just give him minutes. Like for the Lakers, he'll probably be the seventh, eighth man to start the year and just see what he can do because when he was given playing time, he was a very solid player. And the last time he was given a ton of playing time was really, with Memphis before they gave up on him. So a very sneaky signing here, one that getting anytime you can get a sharpshooter is a pretty, you're pretty solid. Of course, he is young. He's missed a lot of games. That's the big, question mark here. But at the same time, those injury concerns were really the first couple of years. 70 games between his first 2 years. But last year finished with 66 games. So let me know down below what your thoughts are, folks, on the signing because it's I like it. I really, really like it. And it's a good start because, of course, we've seen now with the way these new, with the apron and all these things, free agency isn't the exact same when the clock strikes 6 p.m. Eastern. But at the same time, things are interesting. And Chris B. Haynes also just came out as I'm recording right now, and he said that he believed the Kings wanted to re-sign Jake LaRavia, and he thinks something happened last minute to where things fell apart, and he ended up signing with the Lakers. So the Lakers kind of finessed it a little bit here. And of course, all eyes are also now on DeAndre Ayton. That'll be the next step. If they can get Ayton, that would be an absolute finesse for the Lakers. Again, I know a lot of people aren't super excited about Ayton. If you get Ayton and LaRavia, you've kind of redeveloped your team now alongside LeBron and Luka Doncic because it seems that LeBron is staying put. And speaking of players who are leaving, Dorian Finney-Smith has agreed to a 4-year, $53 million deal per his agent. And I mean, a very solid contract for him. So this is a bit interesting because he's making technically less than the full MLE per year, which the Lakers could have given him, but the Lakers were never going to give Dorian Finney-Smith a 4-year contract. So Dorian sacrificed a bit of AAV, so how much he's making per year, in exchange for what's going to be more money over the long term of the deal. 4-year, $53 million. His total amount is going to be more. The Lakers could have offered him more than 53 divided by 4. Could have offered him more than that with the full MLE. But again, they were never, ever going to go ahead and, they were never going to give him a 4-year deal. It just doesn't fit with what they're doing right now. And again, I covered it in the video earlier, but something to keep an eye out on now. This report is from earlier this afternoon. The loss of a valuable wing like Finney-Smith will create a void in the perimeter, but his exit will open up a pathway for the Lakers to be aggressive, targeting top centers in free agency. And there have been rumblings as of the last 10, 15 minutes about Clint Capella, about DeAndre Ayton. They're zeroing in on DeAndre Ayton right now, so we're going to keep you up to date, and that would be, I think, a pretty good fit here. DeAndre Ayton kind of replace not Dorian Finney-Smith because they don't necessarily play, technically Dorian Finney-Smith has played some center, but DeAndre Ayton's more of a traditional center. It would make some sense now if they use some of that money. You get Ayton, and there's some wrinkles in the Ayton buyout that allows it to be more likely for the Lakers. It doesn't have to be the full MLE. It can be $10 to $11 million, which then saves them $3 or $4 million left of the MLE to make subsequent moves, which would go towards guys like Jake LaRavia. So, folks, we're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. Things are fluid. We are going to keep pumping out videos for you all. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on Jake LaRavia. And, of course, DeAndre Ayton. Hopefully, he's, at this point, I kind of want him to be a Laker, but hopefully they make a center move soon. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. Cheers.